Fire family, thank you again for tuning in to another tutorial. This week we will be working on dribbling, and for most of the activity you're going to need 5 cones. To start off, I have my 5 cone laid out in a cross, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to dribble around through the cone using the inside of my foot, and I'm going to try my best to not touch any of the cone as I move the ball around. While doing this, there's no specific pattern. You can go anywhere you like, just making sure that you're keeping the ball under control and you are not touching any of the cones. The next variation is going to involve you using 1 foot only. So I'm going to use my right foot to start, and all I'm going to do is use the inside and outside of my foot to dribble the ball through the cone, similar to how I was doing with the inside of my foot. Once I'm done with my right foot, I'm now going to move on to do the same thing with my left, making sure I use the inside and my outside foot to move around the cone, keep the ball close to me, and also make sure that I try not to touch any of the cone. The last variation of this warm-up is going to be now to use both feet, right? Alternating between right and left, using my inside, outside foot, and if I'm able to use the bottom of my foot as well to stop the ball, right, to turn, right? Just making sure we're using different surfaces of our foot to move around all these cones. And remember, you want to make sure you try your best to control the ball by keeping it close to you, and don't let it touch any of the cones. As you can see, I'm finding different moments to use the roll. So making sure that I keep the ball under control, right? Stopping the ball with the bottom of my foot, using the inside, outside foot as well, and making sure that the ball doesn't touch the cone. Obviously, the ball will touch the cone. That's okay. If it does, just keep going. Now that we're done with our warm-up, we're gonna move on to our next activity, which is weaving through the cones. So I have my cones laid out in a straight line, about a foot apart, but if you need to, you can increase the distance between each of the cone, or even use less cone as well if you don't have that much space available. I'm gonna start off with my right foot, and I'm gonna use the inside and outside of my foot to weave through the cones, and then after I'm done, I'm gonna switch to my left and do the same thing. After using my inside and outside foot to move to the cone, now I'm gonna only use the inside of my foot. Now that we're done using the inside of our foot, we're gonna use the bottom of our foot to roll the ball through the cone. When we're doing the roll, we wanna make sure that we are not pulling the ball between the cone. We wanna make sure that we put our foot on top of the ball, and then we roll it just like that, and stopping it with the inside of our foot to move on to the next cones. Fire family, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's tutorial video. Make sure your child do these activities in their free time as much as they can, and also to visit back to previous tutorial and continue working on those activities as well, right, to help them get more touches and become more comfortable with the ball. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next tutorial.